Hey everyone, I'm back from my week away in Italy, had a great time, thanks for asking. So now we're back to the grind, the weekly roundup. Usually weekly, bringing you all indie news I deem worthy for my precious subscribers. Starting with reveals and announcements. Reveals are up first and I don't think anything significant got revealed the last 2 weeks, which is strange, I know, and I might have missed a thing or two, but yeah. If you found out about any games like being announced or whatnot, just let me know in the comments. Then, announcements, I do got a few of those. The Slormancer, in their monthly update, released an updated roadmap. Let me walk you through some of the highlights on this thing, which you should read from top to bottom, like anything. Unless, you're Arabian or something. The next update, divided into 2 parts as usual, is the Luxuriant update. It is a bluish biome with new enemies, a new act, a new boss and a level cap increase. The Royal update probably sends us into the castle of the king with once again everything you would expect over there, plus a level cap towards 80. And then there are 2 more updates, the Warlords update and the final update. On the right side are features that will be added whenever the devs see fit. We can expect an Elites rework, more legendaries, loadouts, which I'm personally excited for, and a 5th endgame mode. Currently there are 3 endgame modes available. The Slormancer is just developed by 2 people, so expect this to take a while, but whenever a patch does drop, it is typically rather good. Some Path of Exile news, the 3.20 patch is delayed by a few weeks, and to pass the time we're getting events during those extra weeks. Stuff like Endless Delve, I'm sure. I had fun with those, not everyone did, but I did, and the implementation sure could have been a lot better. Hopefully they make that happen, but yeah, we'll be getting a bunch of separate balance manifestos too, highlighting specific balance topics. That is GGG trying to be more transparent, which is good. And finally, hard mode will be released as well in a test version in 3.20 for the masochists out there. Ixion, the space-based builder, delayed the launch of their game. It was supposed to launch November 16th and it will now launch December 7th. That's only a few weeks, hopefully enough to polish up anything found to be subpar. And I hope they do, because Ixion seems like a great game, honestly. Zero Sievert, the top-down post-apocalyptic ARPG, has a release date, the 22nd of November. You can enjoy this cute solo dev project by then, and I'm looking forward to it. Trepang 2, or Trepang Squared, a gory action FPS not unlike Fear, if you still remember that, announced a delay as well. The 4 devs making this game wanted to deliver the game in 2022, but they're not going to make that schedule, mostly due to feedback from the community. That feedback was given on a demo, which is still playable, and perhaps some additional testing as well. It's all good, we can wait, plenty of other stuff is getting released in the meantime. If any of these games do look interesting, be sure to wishlist them, it helps the devs out a lot. Similarly, you can subscribe to this channel to become part of the gang, it helps me out a lot. Proceeding with the patch Plaza, bringing an overview of patch news. I just got 2 this week. Black Skylands released a big patch. This top-down pixel art twin-stick shooter is still in early access and launched the aerial update. In this update, it's all about aerial combat. You can attack enemies with operable onboard gun turrets from your skyships and repel enemy projectiles with an impulse shield. You can rush through the celestial world with a reworked skyship boost and survive the encounter with a new enemy cruiser. Achilles Legends Untold released their first major patch. It is also on sale currently for €14, which seems like a fair price. Let me provide some of the highlights of this big update. There's now a mini-map and map. There are 2 new boss fights, a new main quest in a new area. There's a Tartarus Rifts side activity, also known as the Arenas, empowered Hades-themed enemy variants, 3 new dungeons, a new weapon throw skill next to the existing shield throw skill, grenade throw trajectory prediction, now you have full control of where it goes, bosses got updated with new skill sets, new voiceovers and loading screen tips. Hefty update, should be good. I haven't checked on this game since the demo, but the early access seems to be going fine, with recent reviews at 81% and an overall review score of 73. Then, releases. Looking back at what released last week, well, the last 2 weeks actually, right, because I missed a week. Marauders released 2 weeks ago. It's available for €30. It is an early access multiplayer game about space raiders, and it's done pretty well with a 78% user rating on Steam. Timemelters released into early access. Pass. It is available for only 15 euros. This is a very interesting game with time rewind mechanics, portals and a ton of strategy. It's got co-op mode as well. The crowd hasn't picked up on this one yet, with too few reviews to generate a score yet, which unfortunately means the game is probably not doing too great. Real shame, because I think it's good from what I've played in the past. ARPG The Last Oricru released for 36 euros. I was excited for this one after playing the demo, but the game isn't doing so great with a 55% user rating. Steam gamers say the game breaks your Ethernet connection somehow, which is very weird. Furthermore, they complain about bugginess, and there are a lot of basic PC features missing, like an FOV slider, being able to turn off motion blur, or being unable to rebind your keys. Tactical combat game Lost Eidolons fared a lot better. With a smooth launch according to the devs, you can pick it up for 35 euros. Steam users rated at a 75%. I saw a review from ACG and he liked it a lot. Metacritic scores it a 75 and OpenCritic a 70. Sunday Gold released the point-and-click JRPG mashup. It's available for 20 euros and those who bought it on Steam, not too many, rated a 91% positive rating. The critics score it around a 73, so that's another 7 out of 10-ish game if you believe those people. A game I missed last time is called Cultic Chapter 1 released. Well, only Chapter 1 did, as you might expect, for 10 euros. It is another Doom-inspired retro shooter and people are loving it with a 98% user rating on Steam. Despot's game, a pixel art strategic auto battler, is available for 20 euros and it left early access last week. Recent reviews are at 78%, which is very decent. Scorn, the horror first-person puzzle game, is bound to be a divisive one, or divisive.
Divisive, also divisive.
Skill Up loved it, not everyone did though. Steam reviews are mixed, which is maybe to be expected with a title so weird as this one. It is on Game Pass too, and with the reviews being like this, plus the price tag of 36 euros, Game Pass is probably your best bet here. Gedonia released the solo dev ARPG project after years of early access. It is only 10 euros, definitely worth it. Recent reviews on Steam have this sitting at an 82%. Let's look ahead at what's releasing this week. November 18th we got Deadlink, a guns blazing cyberpunk FPS with roguelite elements. This one launches into early access. It has you in a combat suit, part of an elite organization of course, taking the fight in style to the mega corporations of the future, of course. There are randomized levels to keep it interesting. You can choose from different loadouts of gear, and in between runs you power up that combat suit called a combat shell to get stronger and more powerful over time. Also, A Plague Tale Requiem releases November 18th. That one doesn't really need an introduction anymore, I feel. It is on Game Pass too, which is going to save you a lot of money. One of the biggest games of October for sure, and is bound to be solid. I would be very surprised if this isn't good. November 19th, something much more tactical. It's The Valiant, a squad-based RTS set in a 13th century Europe and the Middle East. You command and level up your medieval knights as you fight through an epic single-player campaign, and there's online co-op and competitive play too. The game features plenty of squads to choose from, promises a very tactical approach to combat, which I believe because there are very few units on screen, and it is a full release as well, so no early access shenanigans. November 20th we have two games. Up first, Batora Lost Haven, the interplanetary ARPG as the devs call it. It is very vibrant, combining combat and puzzle elements. It's a full release and I think it will do decently well. The devs seem to know what they're doing, the game has been in development for a while, community feedback has been taken into account. I feel confident. Last, definitely not least, Vampire Survivors, one of the best games of the entire year. I've been raving about this one since it launched in early access pretty much, just like anybody else out there. If you still haven't picked up this game for 5 euros, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Get this game, it is a work of art. It is on Game Pass too. talking Steam Deck and demos. I played a few demos actually last week, starting with Soulstone Survivors. Face the Lords of the Void and their endless minions, collect their soulstones and become a god. In this action roguelite, unveil secret spells, craft mighty weapons, unlock multiple characters, discover game-breaking synergies and conquer the power of the Void. It's a game influenced, I'm sure, by titles like Vampire Survivors. You are doing all sorts of auto attacks and get upgrades as the run progresses, but the art style, weapon combinations, build synergy and also crafting and upgrades in between runs make it stand out enough within the genre. I think the full product, if competitively priced, is worth checking out. I'll keep track of this one at least. I've also played the Manor Lords demo the last day it was up when I came back from holiday. What an absolute gem this one. I just watched my villagers build in real time, so not sped up, all the different buildings using the ox to carry wood from A to B, the way they farm, it's so incredibly satisfying and somehow this game is just mesmerizing. I can't wait for this thing to be playable in full, and looking at some of the other content creators, I'm not the only one. Definitely put this on your wishlist if you're into city builders. Regarding the Steam Deck, I played a little bit during my holiday, but mostly the Slormancer. I managed to beat the Great Forge, the latest update, at Rev 6, I believe. Builds got nerfed heavily though, so Rev 6 is decent, I think. I do still plan to make a few videos about it, most likely on the main channel, so the people over there know I'm alive. Otherwise, I didn't really play too much in my holiday. I just went out, and had food and wine and, nice Italian things. Up next, free games. Epic didn't have anything I found interesting personally, but Game Pass of course does. Uncle Phil never lets us down, and new releases since 2 weeks ago include, for example, Chivalry 2. Now, if you've ever wanted to be on battlefields and cause medieval mayhem with literally anything you can think of, from weapons to chairs, chandeliers, or just get on a horse and charge through enemy lines, then Chivalry 2 is your game. It's incredibly fun, easy to pick up, hard to master, and something I absolutely love for a few rounds every now and then. The other big game releasing was Scorn, but we already talked about that. Time for some personal updates. What have I been up to? I'm playing Brotato currently, a bit of a mix between Vampire Survivors, with you being a bullet hell, and Isaac games for the art style. I'm going to make a dedicated video on this channel for this early access game because it deserves it honestly. It is really good and only €5. Not so good, but free, and I did play it, is Torchlight Infinite. Just completely disregarding the potential pay-to-win elements. I don't even want to start that discussion, but instead let's just look at the actual game. This is not a PC game. There are virtually no options. Stats on gear doesn't show up when you hover over gear, you have to click it. That's ridiculous. Menus are incredibly large, so you can read it on small screens. This is a mobile game that was ported to PC without thinking about it whatsoever. Features so basic that the original Diablo already had them do not exist here because of how bad this port is. Also, after playing a few hours, there's nothing remotely Torchlight about this game. It just wears the name, but it is a soulless generic thing. Yeah, I'm not impressed at all. The gameplay is fine though, combat is okay, but the constant reminders this is a garbage mobile game are really taking me away from enjoying this, with constant hints, things that level up, battle passes, things I need to claim, shiny markers everywhere. It's horrible. I guess we're all still waiting for that actual next ARPG, because apparently Undecember was a disaster too. Let's hope Last Epoch gets a move on and releases someday. But that's it. If you have any questions or remarks, put them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did and you want more like this, consider liking the video or even subscribing. Thanks for watching and for making it to the end. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.